Ninth race of the evening has Ultimately Handsome, K. Slater, Dragon's Fire, Brookdale Buster, Rusty Riley, Salisbury Quick, Mr. Yokosupi, and Arizona Bucks. They're off and pacing. Mr. Yokosupi from the outside, Ultimately Handsome down at the rail in the center. And driving out is Dragon's Fire looking for the lead. They're three deep, battling for the front end as they race by the opening eighth. That's Dragon's Fire in the center. Mr. Yokosupi with the good early foot from the far outside, driving up to challenge now Ultimately Handsome for the lead. Dragon's Fire taken back to find a seat out the rail in 3. Then racing away in 4. That is Brookdale Buster. Back in 5 for K. Slater. Rusty Roddy is the 6th one. Racing in 7 as they continue on to the 3/8. That is Salisbury Quick and Arizona Bucks out the back. They race on past the 3/8 and winning the early battle. That is Ultimately Handsome with the lead by a length and a half. Second is Dragon's Fire. Brookdale Buster back of the inside racing 3rd. Now settled at the rail in 4 is Mr. Yokosupi. Rusty Riley charging up uncovered from 5. 6th on the inside for K. Slater. Then back to Salisbury Quick and Arizona Bucks is trailing the field. The quarter was 27-2 as they race into the lower turn. A snappy half, 56-3. They continue into the backstretch now for the final time. Ultimately Handsome by 2. Dragon's Fire second. Now up into the 3 spot is Rusty Roddy. Brookdale Buster back there in 4. They continue on to the 3/4 and up front Ultimately Handsome. There goes Dragon's Fire into the pocket. Rusty Roddy right with them 3rd. Then Brookdale Buster back in 4. They continue on to the 7/8. It's still Ultimately Handsome by half a length. Dragon's Fire on the outside. Rusty Riley down at the rail 3rd. 1:26 and 1/3. They turn for home. Dragon's Fire trying to get to Ultimately Handsome as they turn down the lane for the final time. It's still Ultimately Handsome. Dragon's Fire. Rusty Riley in the passing lane. Ultimately Handsome will win it. Second, Dragon's Fire. And 3rd, Rusty Riley.